Hello and you're very welcome to another edition of the Women's Rugby Pod. I'm Johnny Hammond. I'm in the UK. Cold 5 degrees it was this morning, Rachael Burford, who is in the Caribbean.
Morning.
Not jealous at all, Burf. What temperature is it there now?
I think it's about 22, 23. It is only 8 a.m. though. So it's...
Oh.
If it makes you feel better, we're in rainy season, so it's not even like as hot as it normally gets. Or as sunny as it normally gets.
Heart is bleeding here, as I'm sure it is with the listeners. No, in all honesty, you deserve a good welcome break. And are you doing nothing, relaxing, chilling, recharging the batteries?
Yeah, literally just doing nothing, sitting around. We're in a really lovely spot, so you don't really need to go anywhere. You've got a beautiful view. But yeah, literally doing nothing. Have you ever watched Mickey Flanagan when he talks about doing nothing?
No.
Brilliant comedian. He just talks about gone are the days where you do nothing. So he goes and he stares at the kettle and waits for it to boil. I've been doing stuff like that. It's gone to that stage. But no, I'm having a lovely time and sad it's coming to an end, but pretty excited about what's coming next as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one focus has been your sunset photographs, and if you might put any more of those on social media, I shall be anyway where the sun don't shine. Hugely exciting. We've named this pod the calm before the storm, because this is what's coming up. We're just going to rattle through some news that we've just missed the last couple of weeks with the pods I've been doing sort of within the camps, England and Wales. Didn't have an answer from Scotland, so it's not the fact that we didn't get in touch. Yes, being a little slow on the reply of Scotland at the minute, but we will get some news from them. The idea is to do 3 pods next week, covering each of the 3 pools, and we are World Cup focused between now and all the way through to the final in November. Today, as I say, we're going to rattle through some news. We've got news from all over the shop. We've got to start with 30,000 plus tickets already sold for day one at Eden Park, Burf. Brilliant news, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think from how the tournament's been positioned, you know, with COVID, lockdown restrictions, all of those things, I think everybody was a bit nervous about what that was going to be. But now to have sold 30,000 and more are going to come in for sure. The old fear of missing out is going to kick in and people are going to be rushing for those tickets. So mega excited. What a way for the players to open up the tournament. You know, I still flash back to my first experience where there's literally like maybe 50 people there. So remarkable scenes and mega excited to be there and witness it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember calling games and hearing dogs bark back in the day, and yeah, incredible scenes. So that's brilliant. I've even been listening to a bit of Rita Ora myself just to get across it. Bit of research.
Give us the line then.
No.
Oh, you're normally never shy of doing those kind of things, Johnny.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I can't remember one of her songs. One with Sigalo. She probably just goes a lot, doesn't she? Anyway, enough of the vocal talents because there aren't many. Yeah, no, it's a brilliant way to start the tournament. You're down there covering it for World Rugby on the World Feed there and doing some stuff with ITV as well. Well done, you. Brilliant. Looking forward to that. I'm doing some commentary for ITV back here in the UK as well. And every game's going to be live for the first time. We're 99% sure. First time that every World Cup game's going to be live on terrestrial television on ITV. So that's fantastic. A couple of squads that have been announced and a little bit late news, but we have got to get your thoughts on them, Burf. I was there with Wales. Gerald Davis had a chat with them. They seem in a really, really good place. No surprises, really. Large number of those players playing in the Prem 15s, 10 from Gloucester, 7 from Bristol. Lily Crapter, captain. No surprise there. Hannah Jones, co-captain. Snowsill Harries, Thomas going to their 4th. And Abby Fleming, Ron Wilkins and Laurie Norkett now on full-time contracts. And you have to have a special mention to Laurie, don't we? Laurie Norkett. Following in the footsteps of her sister Ellie, who passed away in 2017, but she played it in 2014. And yeah, Laurie, as we heard on the pod last week, was down there, Marcosi. be very, very special for her, and lots of those Welsh players going to the first World Cup.
Yeah, mega special for their whole family. You know, it's a rare thing to be able to play for your country, let alone have two of your daughters playing. And obviously, especially in her memories, be really special and quite emotional. But I don't think there is too many surprises, really. It's kind of the spine of their team, what they started to build out when the first set of contracts came out, and then built players around that as well. The only person I am surprised not to be involved is Courtney Key from Bristol Bears, the winger. Quite a big, strong, powerful winger. She's always played really well for Bristol, and that kind of power on the edge could be something that they might lack in terms of, as great as Jazz is and physical as she can be, she's slight, and same with Laurie as well. So I think just that would be the only player that I would have thought why she dropped out of favour.
Yeah, but she's been out for a little while, hasn't she? Again, yeah, don't know. You're on the ground in New Zealand. You go find out.
Okay.
There's your mission.
Mission accepted.
But look, we're all about the positives. The people that have been selected. Scotland again. Don't think there's a huge amount of surprises. The makeup was a bit for me. 16 forwards, 16 backs. First World Cup for the entire squad. Funnily enough, Dr. Rachel Malcolm. The good doctor leads Helen Nelson, her vice skipper, and there's experience in the 50 cappers. Lana Skeldon, the energetic hooker, she will be very important to them. Sarah Law, Chloe Rowley, and Jade Conkle Roberts. Emma Orr is just 19, but I don't know about you as a former international centre, but she is one to watch.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching her over during Six Nations, and also some of the Sevens games that she's been playing as well. She's a great outside break centre, and also I think defensively she reads D really well. So really excited to see her kick on. But I think generally, yeah, it's interesting. 16 forward, 16 backs. You haven't seen many other teams do that at all. They've gone more heavy on their pack, but maybe Scotland are coming into the World Cup at a great time, right? They've got 7-day turnarounds, which is something that has been, I would say, a huge factor to competitiveness at World Cups. The kind of three giants, England, France and New Zealand, have always had enough depth to rotate over those 4 or 5 day turnarounds that we used to play in. And other teams didn't, so to put the same teams out. And I think, that really works in Scotland's favour. And maybe that's the decisions why he's gone 16 and 16.
That's a good point. Look at the clarity that the Caribbean is giving you.
I know.
Clear air, clear thoughts. USA. 9 return for a second dose of the World Cup action. Hope Rogers at her third. Katie Zachary is the captain. She's one of 19 who play there. Club rugby and England, and they make no apologies about it. Rod Kane spoke to him down in Devon. He said, "Yeah, to get this regular sort of rugby. Otherwise, it's just nothing for them." Sadly, no place for Alicia Washington. But any names spring out to you? That admission there?
No, I don't think so. I think Rob Kane's been quite. He's over the last couple of years, he's been testing a few players. He brought a couple of players over from Sevens, and I think for him, this is his really settled squad and integrating the players into the Premier 15s. At USA, I find such an interesting one, because when you look at the talent of players that they have so much depth and so much talent in their squad. I mean, Lottie Clapp as an addition to it, that massively bolsters their side as well. But yeah, but we're not seeing that kind of. What I'm envisaging for them, what I envisage for them, I haven't seen yet. And I really hope that kind of playing against England, they've gone away, they've worked on some areas, because actually at times they were really clinical. They got into the 22, but they just couldn't finish anything. Their exiting was really poor from a kicking strategy. So I think you tidy a couple of those things up, and then the margins become shorter against other teams. So I really want big things for USA, and hopefully, with they've got a lot experience in there, 9 players that have been to a World Cup before, and the way that the teams are integrated and playing in Prem 15s, they've gained so much more value experience that hopefully you can see bring into the World Cup.
100%. Yeah, shouldn't go too deeply into it, Burf, because we'll save ourselves for next week in the previews. But no, I'm with you. A lot on paper. Somner, Rogers, Zachary, yeah, it just goes on. Cantona, I thought that link to Cantona was an issue down in Devon against the Red Rose. It was just too slow. And then Kelter and Detivert, yeah, and it's they I think they will massively build as the tournament goes on, as that time together. Italy's one of the sort of only other top-rate nations that we've not spoken about, Burf. Manuela Forlan in. Thought her leg had fallen off in the last game. No, we joke, but it looked like a tremendously serious injury. But brilliant that they feel that they can get her back on the park, because she is huge for them.
Oh, I mean, what a roller coaster that probably was for her as an individual, to think World Cup's over. Somebody that, you know, she is talisman for them. So to have carried them all the way through to qualification, and then at that hurdle, potentially it'll be over. And then big turnaround, and she's got herself a seat. I don't know the extent of it. Hopefully that, you know, it's a bit like an Abby Dow situation. If you've got a player that you know can make a difference, and if they're fit, then you take them and you get them ready, and when they're available you bring them into the tournament. So yeah, wonderful for her as a personal individual to still be going on that plane, or be in New Zealand now.
A bit like Scotland, Wales, not too many other surprises. Fairly settled side, isn't it, the Italians?
Yeah, I think they're really settled. I think, you know, their backline partnerships, their pack is always enormously strong. Ball carriers, it's good to see Jada also. We haven't seen much of her because she's been managing her knee injury. So for her to be back in the side as well. But, you know, I think Italy, as they surprised us over the last kind of 12 months, that, or maybe a bit longer than that, you know, I think they're a bit of a sleeping giant. And the contract situation again, so the time and the prep that they've had together, you know, I really hope that we're going to see more from these teams at the World Cup, because of the nature of all the prep that they've had. They've been building, they've been learning lots of good lessons, and, you know, hopefully that's going to turn around into pressure and points and wins for them at the World Cup.
Let's hope so. I don't disagree with you. Let's move on to some other bits of news, but we're just going to crack through this news and have a bit of a chat on a few bits as we go through. Last weekend, the Black Ferns ran in 15 tries in a 95-12 demolition of Japan. Portia Woodman, just a light 7 tries, doing Portia Woodman things. Silent Assassin, friend of the pod, Stacey Fleur is on the score sheet. Hirani, the sevens players, coming back in, making a bit of a difference. Ruby too, although she's been involved with the 15s this season, was on the score sheet as well. Kendra Coxage in the last few games now, notching up 20 points. Impressive, but more of a training run than anything else.
Yeah, I'd say that probably, you know, a lot of the starters in terms of like starter plays probably worked for them. So it would have probably been more of a, like you say, a team run. And that's no disrespect to Japan, because I don't think that was a fair display of what Japan can produce. You know, it's a big occasion, a big moment for them playing against New Zealand. You know, I've been there when you first time you play New Zealand, they have that aura around them, whatever their results on were previously. So yeah, I think probably wasn't a test really for New Zealand, but allowed those girls to come back in, embed themselves. I mean, Portia really did embed herself in that game, 7 tries. You know, I'm sure she'll say all the hard work was done by everybody else, but she does do some individual brilliance that, you know, and I think the fact that all 3 who have come into the team have all got on the score sheet because they can do brilliant things. So I think that's a massive lift for them, having the 3 girls come back from the sevens and be involved.
Couldn't agree with you more.
So a little international roundup for you. Some of these bits from a week or so ago, but we do try and bring you all of the news. The Scotland versus Spain test match did not go ahead due to the death of Elizabeth II. Italy beat France in the second of their test matches, 26-19, the final score. And that Madia and Rigoni partnership looked brilliant.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? And the French, we already discussed some quite strange selections. And yeah, got down to New Zealand with that a loss under their belt. But Fiji begin their prep underway, hosting games. It's just brilliant to see down in Suva. They played Wahine Mari on the 16th of September. They won 32-10 and then followed that up with another test at home against Canada. At half-time it was 0-0 and ended up 24-7 to the visitors. Tyson Bukiboom, one of the best names in rugby, scored the final try on her 50th test match. And the French coaching group is now all sorted. This is from some time ago, but it just wasn't really announced. As we say, we like to keep you up to date. Thomas Darroch is now coach. General manager is Anik Hero, and the assistant coach is Gail Mignot and David Ortiz.
News from New Zealand that the Super Rugby Aupiki competition returns in February 2023.
It does, Burf. Chiefs, Blues, Hurricanes, Matatu will play across 5 weekends, slightly extended. The headline news is Christo Kaua for the Chiefs and Victoria Grant for the Hurricanes have been named as 2 of the head coaches, the first female head coaches in the competition. Willie Walker leads the Blues and Blair Baxter Matatu. Victoria Grant, that's the old fullback, right?
Yeah.
She's a classy player, real glider, wasn't she? A fullback, winger.
Yeah, no, fullback. Yeah, played against a number of times.
2010 World Cup. It's great to see some more female coaches.
Meanwhile, Hawke's Bay Tui won the inaugural Farah Palmer Cup championship title, upsetting the previous undefeated Otago Spirit 24-20 in front of a great crowd at Clufford Showgrounds. Way down south of the South Islands in New Zealand, it gave Emma Jensen the perfect send-off. The World Cup winner made her provincial debut back in 1999, and the 57 minutes she played for Tui, and of course played well, was her 139th game. What an impressive record.
Another one who was knocking around in 2010, wasn't she? Emma Jensen. They're a little scrum half factory down there, don't they? On those 2 islands. Kendra Cox, as you just picked up seamlessly where Emma Jensen left off. And I just wanted to get your thoughts. I know it was a couple of weeks ago now, but the Sevens World Cup down in Cape Town. We got some reaction from one of the winners, now Sharni Williams. We wanted to get you on just to reflect on that World Cup Sevens. Obviously the World Cup in Cape Town, where you picked up yet another gold medal against your nearest and dearest rivals, 24-22, dramatic ending in the final against New Zealand. How was that?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It's always nice to have a win, right? But yeah, like leading into that sort of tournament, 2009 was the last time that Australia had won a World Cup in sevens. So we sort of channeled that and went with the history of the 2009 girls and got them to send a little message in, and then rewatched the last bit of the final. And it almost actually came down to that against New Zealand, 24-22. Coming down to a kick, so it could have gone into extra time like that 2009 playoff. But yeah, obviously we came through with the goods. It was awesome.
Do you remember the feelings on that final whistle? Because, I mean, you must have an incredibly huge sock drawer. I don't know where you keep your medals, but I mean, you've been lining them up now. We've got Olympic golds in there. We picked up Commonwealth in Birmingham earlier, series title. Do you remember the feelings on final whistle? Is it even more sweeter being a World Cup, being against the old enemy?
Yes, it's obviously quite surreal. It still sometimes doesn't sink in until you've been talking about it a bit longer. And obviously I've just sort of jumped straight back into footy and come into the 15 side of things. But being around family and friends, and then obviously reminiscing stories and stuff with some of the sevens girls on how they were feeling and what they felt, probably cements it in as well. And I remember sitting on the sideline and poor Tamika Wilson, having to kick that goal, to be able to get over that for sure. Like she's only young. It's part of, footy, and that's sevens. That's how brutal sevens is. It's the bounce of the ball, the rub of the green, all those cliches that sort of come out. But I remember Tokyo was pretty tough for us Aussie girls. We lost a couple of games by 2 points, and I was a kicker at that point, and I thought about those moments of, missing those kicks that probably could have got us through. So for me, being able to reflect and look at myself kicking a goal from the sideline that I, probably never would have got, I was pretty obviously proud of myself. But then to look at Charlotte Caslick and, run over to her and think that we've just got the triple crown, it was a feeling that's, you can see in our faces, you can see in the hugs that we're giving, we're running onto each other. Like, you can definitely see what it was like on TV. And it's probably similar to me reminiscing about 2016, the gold medal match. It's that feeling of relief, because all that hard work that you've put in and done and all those milestones you've gotten over is not just for the game, but for everyone watching at home.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, as you say, dramatic scenes. We were out in Dubai, did a couple of sevens tournaments early part of the series, and you saw coaches back again, if memory serves me right. And I don't know whether this coincide, the jersey change, and it was back to the old, you mentioned green, the green and gold. And it just seems that a switch was flicked. You were doing warm-ups together. If you guys are playing, the men were watching, vice versa. There seemed to be an incredible unity. Where does the drive come to keep winning and, as you say, pick up the Triple Crown?
Yeah, I think it's a standard that you set for yourself, right? And once you have a bunch of people that have succeeded before, it's easy to drill into them what it takes. And it's easy for them to just get up every day and go, this is my job, and how good is this? I get to travel the world. I get to play rugby, but I get to win. If I do all those things right, then we're going to have that amazing feeling. And as I said, like the rub of the green with sevens is that, the bounce of the ball could go somewhere else and the opportunity's gone. But it's like, you got to take those opportunities every step of the way. And that's about being in front of the ball and staying ahead of the game, and knowing where you're from too, being enriched in that history and that culture, and it not just being sevens, it's 15s as well. The Wallabies, the Wallaroos, and the sevens guys are all one unit.
I'm Kate Zachary, and you are listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
So, yeah, they made it the Triple Crown, didn't they? Australia won the Commonwealth, the series title, and, of course, now the World Cup. Dramatic ending, wasn't it? 24-22 against the nearest and dearest New Zealand. France ended up third, beating USA 29-7. And fair play to Madagascar, won their first ever match at the World Cup. Sevens, Ireland and England battling out for 7th place. And the ladies in green took it to 26-10. Your thoughts on the Cape Town tournament?
Yeah, I think the World Cup's so wonderful because you see, the likes of developing countries who are engrossed in it, Madagascar being one of them. And it just has this different feel around it. I mean, I'm sure people have seen the gesture that Australia then donated training shirts. So they had another shirt. They didn't have to continue to wear the same. And I think just that whole community of bringing different nations in is wonderful, and seeing some results for them as well. I think it was always going to be a race to the top between New Zealand and Australia. I think France have been so strong in the series, but just haven't quite, or didn't quite hit the strides that they were looking to go on and achieve to get to that final. And USA, again, I think another team probably didn't achieve what they're capable of achieving. But I think all in all, what a spectacular game. You had some really close games, which is so exciting for the fan. And, to win a game by 2 points is so special. you prefer to win those tight games than blow teams away. You know, at the time you probably don't feel like that, but when it's over, and yeah, so I think, you know, Australia Rugby Sevens is just off the scale. You know what they've achieved and what you know, Charlotte Caslick and Sharni Williams have achieved in their careers at the moment. I mean, Caslick is still so very young, so yeah, that they're inspiring a nation, a country, a world about what they're doing, and New Zealand aren't far behind that. So yeah, I think all in all, you know, World Cup is what it is about. It's about the entire world taking part and having opportunities. And yeah, I couldn't be out there actually, so I always love being around all the different teams.
So moving on to domestic news now, Burf. There's only one headline really, and it is just all our thoughts and support. I've reached out to a couple of people at Worcester, but just a very, very, very sad state of affairs for the players, coaches, and management. Everyone surrounded by the women's team. The fault of none of them. They did sign off for now. We use that expression with a great cup win. And yes, the men and the women's outstanding weekend last weekend just showed what the club meant to those players. But yeah, if you're listening, if there's anything we can do on a personal or pod level, then please just get in touch. But yeah, really, really sad times, and yeah, very uncertain future.
Yeah, I think it's so unprecedented in the women's game at this level, and I think what makes it feels even worse from somebody who's on the outside is, you know, the results that they were getting. Like, that's taken years to get to that point, and now they're at a point where things are collectively working for them, and for then that to be taken away, and with all the disruption leading up to those matches as well, it really is heartbreaking, because as you say, it's none of the fault of the players. They have absolutely no control, and they're being turmoil around what do I do? What do I sit and wait and hope? Do I trust? Or do I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do next? And that will be really challenging for the players, because, you know, you've played at grassroots rugby clubs, you've played at level clubs where they're your home and you don't want to leave based on those kind of decisions. So I think, yeah, it's a really troublesome time. And as you said, like, if any player wants to have a chat about anything, then I'm here as well. And the pod is obviously open DMs and stuff. But yeah, it's really, really sad time. And I really hope that it can be rectified very quickly, that it doesn't impact the players too much.
Yeah, the only thing is that Worcester do have a little bit of time before those Premier 15 matches start, unlike the men. So we don't know what's going to happen, but yeah. Sad times at Six Ways. The 2023 Six Nations fixtures have been released. Again, another dedicated winner, March and April. All matches to be live in all 6 countries competing. And Super Saturday on the 29th of April with England, France, Italy, Wales and Scotland, Ireland. And off the back of that, where England playing their home games, Burf?
Yeah, pretty exciting to see that it's getting moved around again. So they've announced that the 2023 Six Nations venues will be Scotland at Kingston Park, Newcastle, Saturday the 22nd, Franklin Gardens in Northampton will host the Italy game. At Sunday the 2nd, before the Red Roses take on France at Twickenham Stadium on the 29th of April, which will be the first standalone England women's fixture at the iconic venue. Early bird tickets are on sale now, so go to England Rugby website and get your tickets.
I know you've got to get back onto a holiday, but this is your moment, people. This is a massive test for the RFU to see where the ambitions are filling up Twickenham for the 2025 final. Show your support by doing your walking up to the ground, buying a ticket on the website and going to see it.
London Irish have announced their intention to join the Prem over a year ago, but recently announced a stellar coaching setup to be joined by Graham Smith, former England forwards coach and World Cup winning coach, Abby Chamberlain, international at both 7s and 15s, and former Blackburn Lydia Keir, and Karen Finley returns to the coaching scene at London Irish.
Don't know, how do you? Over in Ireland, the All Ireland League has got underway. Old Belvedere lead the way. They've beaten Bows, Ballincollig and Suttonians. Galwegians lie in second with victories over Ballincollig and Cook. Defending champions Railway Union have won both of their games to date against Bows and Ballincollig, as has Blacklock against Cook and Wicklow. US Bows have won one of their 3 games. That was the opening one against Wicklow. Suttonians, Wicklow and Cook are yet to win in their 2 games. Ballincollig 2, but they've played 3. This weekend, on Friday, Cook hosts Suttonians, while Saturday sees Ballincollig face Wicklow. Galwegians travel to Blackrock, Belvedere to Cook, and Suttonians go head-to-head with Railway Union.
Also from Ireland, the Interprofessional Championship coaches have been announced, and Niamh Briggs will head up Munster with our old teammate Tanner Rosser leading Leinster.
That'll be a fascinating matchup as well, won't it? Burf, you've got to get back to the Strawberry Daiquiri and the Sun Lounger. Let's just finish up with a few little shout-outs in this little mini-pod, the calm before the storm, before a big old week next week, of course. I was lucky enough to get an invite to Martin Thomas's book launch last night, and 4 megastars of the game. Possibly the game wouldn't be where it is without these 4 ladies were there last night. They've been inducted to the World Rugby Hall of Fame as well. 6 legends, Deborah Griffin, Sue Dorrington, Alice D. Cooper, Mary Forsyth, all from England, Kathy Forrest from USA, and Fiona Farmer-Silly from New Zealand. They'll be honoured at the semi-final at Eden Park on the 5th of November. Deb, Sue, Alice and Mary were on outstanding form last night. I've not met Sue before. What a ball of energy she is. Great characters, Deborah and Alice. And ladies who put the first World Cup together.
Yeah, huge congratulations to our pioneers. There's also been another book release. I can't believe how many books we keep talking about in women's rugby. It's amazing. But this
See what you've started, Alison Donnelly? See what you've started?
So this one comes from Olympic and World Cup Sevens gold medalist Ruby Tui. In her book, Straight Up, if it's half as good as some of her post-match interviews, we'll be in for a right treat. And I'm hoping to get a signed copy in New Zealand when I get there.
Yeah,
I really let her know.
Oh, good. Nice. Sarah here in Goss. Big shout out for her for becoming the first Black Fern Sevens player to represent New Zealand in 50 tournaments. A great other code came away with silver from Cape Town. And again, you may well have seen it across social media, but one of the most awesome things you'll see, display of pride and admiration for their teammate, the hooker in the changing room for Sarah. I know she would have that would have gone straight to the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Another remarkable player. And over the summer, Sene Naapu announced her retirement. Capped 48 times by Ireland, was part of the 2015 squad that won the Six Nations, an international in sevens and 15s and touch. Sene, she's a friend of ours, a friend of the pod, and also is going to be in New Zealand, part of Spark Sport presentation team covering the World Cup in New Zealand.
Yeah,
happy retirement.
Yeah, happy retirement. I know you know her very well indeed. An outstanding ambassador on and off the field. I will be less for her not being in the green. We must just say, Chris Turner and Stockton, under 13 girls, you guys need a shout out and an apology for our tardiness in replying to you guys. I hope this season has started well and started with a bang. Stay in touch and we'll get all your news out there as well. But that's it. Burf! I can smell a strawberry daiquiri all the way from here.
Trying to get to the door.
She's trying to get to the door. Burf, continue to recharge the batteries. It's been absolutely lovely to see you looking so tanned and well and relaxed. Enjoy the rest of your holiday and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, Johnny. Cheers, everyone. Bye.